Hello, this is Ted Lang. Today we are going to talk about how to set up the Constellation Vision system from Alcon. In the back of the machine, there is a black on and off switch, which we typically leave on all the time. The blue glowing button is what you use to actually turn on the machine. You want to make sure that you've attached the gas line from your supply and that you have the pressure turned appropriately. We like to keep the pressure at about 90 psi. But you could also have it anywhere between 58 to 120 psi. The gas supply can either be from the wall, but if you do not have that or the wall line is broken, you could use a nitrogen bottle that you can wheel in and attach to the machine and also adjust to about 90 psi. You want to make sure that your gas canisters are open for both SF6, which is the blue one, and C3F8, which is the red one, and check to make sure that the pressure on those gauges are above 50 psi. If they're below 50 psi, it's time to change those gas canisters. Once the machine is on, it takes a little bit less than 5 minutes for it to run its cycle and become ready for setup. Here we have the tray, which we've placed right below the level of the cassette and the plugs. And the reason why this is important is that if you're running pressure control mode, where the machine keeps the intraocular pressure during the surgery plus or minus 2 millimeters of mercury, it needs to calibrate itself properly. So to insert the cassette, you just gently place it in the slot, and then the machine will actually suck the cassette in. You don't want to force it into the slot. Next, we're going to attach the various lines. This first one here is the infusion line, and everything is color coded. You have green and white for the infusion line, and what you want to do is place the color coded knobs into the cassette and then gently twist just for a quarter turn. If you twist too much, it'll actually get stuck and you've over tightened it. So all it takes is just a little tiny eighth to 1/4 turn to get the plugs aligned in the cassette. This one here is the infusion line from the bottle. So you put the gray and the red plugs into the cassette, and then there's a spike there that you can spike the BSS bottle, which is on the right side of the machine. So we'll pass that off to another staff member who's not scrubbed and spike the bottle. And the bottle just kind of hangs there. There's no height adjustment because this is all based on pressure from the wall line. Next is the vitrector. The vitrector has 3 connections. The blue one will go into the cassette, again, with a nice small turn. Now these connectors for the actual vitrector are coated with a little chip. So if you put it in the wrong slot, it'll turn yellow, which tells you put it in the wrong place. But when you put it into the correct slot, it'll turn green, telling you that you've done the right thing. These also go in with a little tiny 1/8 to 1/4 turn, and the green lights confirm that the vitrector is set up properly. Lastly is the extrusion line for your soft tip. It goes in the light blue slot there, and that sits down. The light pipe can be plugged in as well. This will also give you a green indication when it's ready. There are 4 light sources on this machine. The top 2 are labeled 1 and 2, and the bottom 2 are labeled 3 and 4, and you'll see this on the control screen. You can see here that it turns green, recognizing the chip inside the base plug. Once you have everything set up, we're going to go to the infusion line, and we leave that in the case because it has a little reservoir there so that liquid doesn't spill all over your tray. You plug that into the infusion line there and screw it on tightly, and you just let that sit there, and then you go up to the screen and you make sure that the correct physician is selected. In this case, there's my name, and you hit Start Prime. Once you hit Start Prime, the machine takes care of everything. It'll show you the progress. This process takes just under 2 minutes to perform. You can see here the chamber filling up with fluid there, coming from the BSS bottle, and the machine will push liquid out both the extrusion line and the vitrector line and test the vitrector. And it's a one-step process. You just push start prime and everything takes care of itself. You can see here the infusion line filling, getting all the air out of the line, and it will test the vitrector and you'll be ready to go. I can be reached at vision.md@gmail.com for comments. Thank you for watching.